I'm here in Budapest, curious by nature. I ask questions to learn, to listen. This is RayAsk.
Balázs, thank you for coming to RayAsk. I do appreciate it.
Thank you for the invitation.
It's my pleasure. Before I start, I kind of want to do this intro to kind of share with people that might not know who you are, to kind of share that with you. So if I look at my notes here, I have, so in front of me, I've got this special guest today, somebody I see as a real Hungarian game changer. He's built companies that started in Hungary and went global. He's shaped digital banking on an international level, mentored startups, and enjoys investing in the next generation. And outside of all of that, he's a family man. And I'm told by his assistant that he loves cycling as well. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, that's a correct summary. That's, you know, the most loved part, of course, the cycling, but
Is it?
all the other is true.
Awesome. Beautiful. So I've spent time in Budapest, but I've also been into smaller towns and villages around Hungary. And in those places, I notice that people often choose careers based on the examples around them, right? Teaching, law, maybe farming, maybe medicine, engineering. The environment really shapes what feels possible. Growing up, what was your family life like?
Yeah, I was quite lucky as a kid. So that's, even though that's my majority of my kids' time, it was about the Eastern Bloc and the communist era. But we were growing up in a very secured place where the whole environment was very easy to live. People were more or less on the same level around me, and we seen the big changes coming, so that we feel it, we got it, and we lived together with the big change. And for Hungary, for the older generation, that was a kind of like shock. For us, it was nature, part of the life. And we grew up in a small, internationally in a small town that's called Miskolc, which is the northeast part of Hungary. It's a very much industrial city. Possibly the biggest negative impact on the big change was in Miskolc, because of those heavy industries is collapsed. But this has given us an opportunity to way of thinking in a more creative way, how we want to live our life in a longer way. And in Hungary in general, the education was quite good. So I'm really appreciated that I got in the elementary school and also in the high school. And I also got the friends who we started together, the company, my first company as well. That is the very typical quotes on successful business people, that you were in the right time, in the right place. So from our point of view, in 1997, Miskolc, from global digital banking point of view, it's not sounds like the best place to be.
It's remarkable, actually, right?
But we thought that possibly because of the change, that we have an unlimited opportunity. And we have friends from the same street who already lived in Germany. We got the connection, how we are able to learn about the big internet boom, how we are able to participate in it. And of course, first we thought that's going to be just some easy small work for SMEs, like creating website or something like that. But later on we realized that this is more and more opportunity which is just ahead of us. And for us it was kind of like a game without real risk. And we just taken the next and the next challenges, and we just collected the better and better people around us. And the power of the group, the power of the community, it's just created a very strong entrepreneurial company.
But, there was, I guess, you talk about back in those days where there was not so many international things known, I guess, on an international level for young people. How did how was there so many people in that one area or even in your town that you guys connected with? Were you teaching each other, or how did that?
I guess that's the way. So we developed each other.
Okay.
That everybody had some special talent in something, and that we just added together, and we just grown up on a way that's okay. I learned from him, I learned from them, and we added together in a collective power. I don't believe I was a special child or something like that. I was not really talented in something very much. So I mean that I was not. I loved skiing, but I was not good enough to being the best one. I loved basketball, but I was not good enough to going to the NBA or even on a lower level. So, but we learned a lot of things, several things, and we collected all the information and we tried to put it in the right way, how we are able to mobilize that knowledge. And that's what happened with the entrepreneurship as well.
Was there someone in your life that was that trigger for you that kind of said, "Wow, this person made me think a little larger in life, like a mentor or something like that early on?" Or was it a father or parent or
Yeah, my father was an entrepreneur, so I'm an early entrepreneur in IT. So that's a completely different type of IT, but in IT. So even though there was no sessions where he personally mentored me or we officially made some training or something, I was always got the chance to hearing how he acting as a business person, how he's talking with people, how he's talking with employees, how he's talking with clients, and I just try to listening and figure it out that how I'm able to translate it to my word. So that's, is it sales? So is it HR? Is it R&D? So that's the life is not segmented like this. It's you just hearing the information and you try to synthesize it in yourself, that what is useful from your point of view and how would you do that. And of course that was a very strong impact and impression for me. That's how my father acted as a business person. And later on, I got the chance to learn from several businessmen and also for other industries as well. So that's the first journalist who I met with. It was George Kertész, who was a very wide range of knowledge about everything, and I learned a lot. That's how the marketing, the PR, and the whole media is working, which helped me a lot to understand that how the opposite side in a large corporation is thinking about this, and it helped the sales, it helped to act with them, and so on and so forth.
how young were you when you decided when you kind of figured out?
Yeah, when we started the company, we were 19 to 20. So that's the first year of the uni. And most of us who were together, we were living in the same street or we were in the same high school class.
It reminds me of like Silicon Valley. The stories you hear about how Apple started, or well, I'm a Mac head, so
Yeah.
I think about them starting in their on the same street at their mom's house and just kind of building things out and stuff. But you were part of that same trend, really.
Yeah, and we are proud of it. So still this connection between these people are very strong. And the network effect, of course, in the Silicon Valley, it's also very strong. That's people were in the same university or were same in a campus or something like that. It was something similar here in Miskolc as well. Of course, the scale is completely different, and the visible opportunities is also very much different. But we were brave enough to take the risk to stepping forward.
That's beautiful. You chose to study law, if I read correctly. One of those things that's a traditional path, I would say. That interests me that you studied that. What led you to law school?
Yeah, that's in the high school. We were in a class which was about ICT, so IT and development. So that's classic coding. but I was more interested in those times about history and literature.
Literature.
Literature. Thank you. Sorry for that. And I thought that's probably law is a kind of like interesting job for me for a longer run. And I was quite committed. So as I went to the university and faculty of law, and when I started the company together with my friends, full about IT, my father told me that, okay, I can understand this is a kind of like game for you, but there is only way that I not block it or not or giving my permission if you finishing your university and getting your diploma. So that was kind of like a challenge for me. That's okay. Parallelly, when I building a company, I also need to be able to good enough to finishing the school. And frankly, I believe that it was a good decision. So even though this is not directly connected to my daily job, but I learned a lot in the law as a faculty of law. So that's I'm really getting a benefit from it.
That's awesome. Wow. Yeah, I think I always had the attitude like even some of the jobs I didn't really like, very different than your situation completely, but even the jobs I didn't like, I tried to learn as much as I could
Exactly.
so that I could store that in my pocket, move years later, months later, whenever it was, that thing I learned, I was able to apply to something new. So it sounds like you've taken that same approach in life.
Yeah, that's small little tricks which helped me to survive the university as well, because of course next to the company it was not easy to also learn everything in a perfect way. So I got in a lot of challenge that how I'm able to convince my teachers and professors that I'm good enough to get the right quote. And sometimes it's about communication skills, sometimes it's about how you are able to impress people, and this is connected to the sales, what was my daily job in the business. So it's everything could be similar, and everything could have a special advantage in your next level of your life.
So let's talk about IND. Yes. For people watching, IND stands for Interactive Net Design, correct? You started this company in Miklos. Did I
Yeah.
pronounce that
Yeah.
properly? Ooh, thank goodness. A city, like you said, northeastern Hungary, about 2 hours outside of Budapest. It wasn't a startup born in a big financial center as we spoke. Like it wasn't Silicon Valley. So it began in your garage. Is that correct?
Yeah.
How? Like, please share the beginnings of this.
Actually, that even on the high school, we were thinking a lot about how we could be successful in the life, and that was, on a way, it was kind of like a game. That's we just challenging our brain. That's popping up with extreme ideas together with my friends. But on the other hand, we were also looking for that's how we will live our life and how we are able to getting on a different level of the quality of the life as we are. So that's we were dreaming about being Western European and dreaming about successful as a business people. And there was several ideas, extreme and less extreme. And
Like what?
that extreme was that's okay, we wanna creating, by the way, we were talking about CDs already, so that's creating business cards in a CD format.
Okay.
And you are able to put it in a ROM, and this is immediately says that what is your exact data, what is the website of your company, and so on and so forth. So that it was more or less before the big internet boom, so that information sharing was not easy as of today. So that's we were thinking about this as well. But on the somehow the focus point was around the internet, because that was the new thing. we born together with the internet, so we immediately understood, and we didn't get any disadvantage even compared to the global centers like Silicon Valley as well. Okay, there was some disadvantage, but not years, but months is how the information we got it later than the guys there. So we thought that this helps for us, and we started to creating websites for real SMEs, not really in Hungary, but mainly in Germany. And that's how we put together with my friends who were living in Munich. And he were the kind of like sales guy. He went for the SMEs that, you want to get in a new website or a website, because nobody had a website in that time, or a web shop or something like that. And together with my friends in Miskolc, who were IT specialists, we were able to develop it. So that was an easy between an entrepreneurship and a game for university students. And finally, we met with a company who were creating digital banking solution. And we were thinking about that, okay, so banking is a very serious industry. It's also going to be transformed by the internet. So
And you guys knew that.
Yeah, that was quite obvious.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was quite obvious. And we thought that's okay. Probably this is a blue ocean. Let's jump in and see how we are able to perform in. And together with the German partner, the beginning was quite easy, because for the German partners, we were very cheap resources. From our point of view, this was a great opportunity to learn this business and understand that how the banks are working, plus incredibly large revenue potential with international banks. Yeah.
That's amazing to me. I remember we're talking 90, 96,
96, 97.
97.
Yeah.
There was a time, do you remember a company called Gateway Computers?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was a musician full time. I traveled music, but I was one of the few musicians that would carry a laptop around. So you'd see me in airports and people like, this hippie guy messing around with this Mac laptop. And I was trying to teach myself HTML, all this stuff. And I realized, I can't do it on a Mac. I got to get a little PC. So I got a PC. But one of my first deals I did was with the owner of Gateway. And yeah, it was like buying a stupid amount of domain names. I think we bought 100,000 domain names.
Yeah.
And I convinced him to do so. Of course, the bubble burst, and we didn't make a whole lot from it at that point. But that was like I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It was just like, if you saw the bulletin board systems and all that stuff, you really got a chance to understand that, wow, this is something that you can, I don't know. I just didn't have anybody around me like yourself.
Yeah, and the very curious point in this story was, which we didn't understand at that time, but in the longer run, just looking back as a kind of like history, was the revolution of the mobile phones.
Yes.
Because in Europe it started earlier than in the US.
That's true.
And Ericsson and Nokia was way more innovative than Motorola in the US. So that's these devices was much more capable. And the whole innovation is also came from Europe. And in 99, I think it was 99 or 2000, when the Nokia 7110, which was in the Matrix, you probably remember this banana shaped phone. It is moved.
I think so, yes.
There was a kind of like a device which is just getting longer,
yes,
by pushing by the button, and it's already had a protocol which was communicated on the internet. It was called WEP.
Oh, yes.
And we truly believed in that time that the mobile banking is going to be the next big thing, and we were investing all of our money, what we created by the website and portals and digital banking, that, okay, let's invest it in a mobile banking solution. And we were able to sell it for 2 times, but this web was, it's a very, very geek type of things, that you communicated not in a normal browser, but in a typing type of activity, so it was not really usable, and it's died, of course, very early. But we were still believed that the mobile banking will popped up once, and the next generation was the Java application what you were able to install on your SIM card. So we invested money again to the mobile banking solution because we simply believed that that's going to be the big revolutionary thing, and we completely failed again. So that was nobody, literally nobody bought that solution. And in 2007, Apple came with the iPhone, and from one moment to the other, the whole banking is moved to mobile. And that was our finally moment, because we were waiting for 7 years to be able to be there, and we just became successful because we were much more earlier on this field.
How did you keep the faith? Like, a lot of people probably fell by the wayside. And how did you have all the partners keep the faith?
Yeah, that the company was in general successful. So online banking started much more earlier. We were not the first mover on that field, but we got enough job to be able to maintain the growth of the company. So we were not in a bad shape. Just all the profit what we created, we always invested in mobile banking. So and it's always failed. So or at least 2 times it's failed. And just because we were young and we had a quite high risk appetite, we didn't care too much, because we simply believed that that's okay, that's gonna come, Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. So later on, IND at some point was acquired.
Yeah.
That must have been an amazing phone call. Like, I can't imagine how that process happened. Like, were there others that were interested in buying you out, or how did that deal come about?
Yeah. So that was a quite long journey. Right now we're talking about quite small steps of the whole company, but we started in '96 and it has been acquired in 2014.
Gotcha.
So it's 18 years or 17 years. So it's a quite long journey, and we changed a lot in this time. Of course, we learned, we educated ourselves. By the way, that's when we started the company. I didn't speak English, so that's just because we do the company, I must learn. That's how just getting out from the game cards, this disadvantage of myself, and of course education or ongoing education and how we are able to developing ourselves. It was a very important piece of our culture and the company itself. Everybody was so proud. That's how we are able to getting better and better, and that's the development of the people, that's the development of the company as well. But at some point we realized that this is still a very strong friendship, but it's more a business. So how we are able to grow this business forward, it's possibly that we need to change the scene as well. And because we were quite successful on mobile banking, that more and more companies just try to reach out us that, okay guys, we are the second largest, the fourth largest, the sixth largest financial IT company in the world, that it would be better to doing forwarding under our umbrella, because it's scale up your capabilities in a much more different level. And after a few years we realized that probably that's the best way to going forward, and that also it's a very big success for an entrepreneur. And when you are also able to making an exit, because that's a clear measure point. That's what did you create it and what's the value of it. And in 2014 we has been acquired by a company called Mysys, who was the fourth largest financial IT company or core banking vendor of the world. Headquartered in London. So that was a big change for us and for me myself as well. luckily that we made an agreement that I got a chance to sit in a board of the global firm. So that's I was really on the top of this organization. I was directly reporting to the CEO, and that was the first day of being employed. But on the other hand, that's also a great chance to learn how the multinational companies are working. So that's what is the logic, operation model. There is a lot of things in a big company like tactics, politics, sales, HR, and so on and so forth, which you must understand to be able to being a more successful entrepreneur. And I never get a chance. We just started in the uni, so that's we were not seasoned veterans on business.
And all this time you've lived Miklos. That was
Yeah, still in Miskolc. Yeah.
but that move to. So did you move to the UK?
No. I was spending 3-4 days in a week
Okay.
in London or traveling around, but we never moved. I already had I already had the family and 3
Okay.
kids, so that's we didn't want to move. But I learned a lot in this journey. I'm really appreciated the time where I was able to spend together with Mysis and later on Finastra. I got the other very rarely happening in an entrepreneur life that he's also able to learn how the big corporates are working, and this model is very far from each other, but on the other, sometimes they don't understand each other, and in my soul that's that I have both, and I have the logic and the knowledge that how the large corporation is working and also the small entrepreneurship. So that's I love this, and I believe that makes me much more, how do you call it, resilient
Yes.
for several things.
That's a important point. Putting yourself in a position where you know the value of your company, it being bought out, and then you willing to go into a situation where you did have to answer to someone, but you were willing to learn and absorb that information, and you enjoyed being in that space. I think a lot of entrepreneurs that are looking at different levels to achieve things in their life, a lot of times I think that's a good message for them. Like,
Definitely, yes. That's of course this is a opposite way of career, because normally it should happen that the people is finishing the university, then they're working in a large corp, and after they realize that how they are able to spin off and getting in a new company. Of course, Silicon Valley is also about full with stories which is started from nowhere and during the universities, but this is, I think, in majority of the entrepreneurs is created more in an advanced phase than from the university. And to be honest, I would also suggest to my kids as well that it's better to finish the university and then works a little bit to get some experience, and after you can start your career as an entrepreneur. But the life is sometimes much more difficult to understand how the opportunities are coming.
100%. Yes. So, I'm looking at here. You've also co-founded Code Cool,
Yep.
a programming school that trains software developers. And tell me about that.
Yeah, that what I learned in the IND journey is that how important is the human brain in this. So that's we really try to find the best talent, because these talented people were able to build the company under our leadership. To be honest, the value of the company was not in the machines and also not in mind brain, but the collective brain of the people who made the R&D behind. So the talent was the most key elements of our success. And we realized that this, of course, it was digital banking, but because of the talents, it could be anything else, because talented people are able to creating whatever they want. And when we started, finding the right talent, it was quite easy because we were there on the university, we were there in the campus. We, of course, naturally feel that who is the most talented person here and there, and we just collected them quite easily. Later on, we always tried to hire the best qualified university student from IT. But after a few years, we realized that this is very much in a silo and in a bubble. Let's say it's a bubble. It's created a bubble. We were very much technical focus and less understand how the surrounding, the real world is working. So we significantly changed it, and we try to hire people from anywhere, but not IT, just to make it more colorful, the way of thinking. So we got PhD doctors, army flight pilot.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of other people, artists and so on and so forth. And this makes more creative the power of the team. And what I just realized that the real factual knowledge in IT was less important than the motivation of the people. And that's what we try to replicate it in and still try to at Code School. That giving a chance for motivated people who want to change their career from non-IT or non-digital to digital to being a digital professional. And the pattern was same there, that not the highest IQ people is the best code coolers, but the most motivated. Doesn't matter what type of backgrounds are they coming from. If they are so much motivated, they can do a digital career and they are successful in it. And you know, the power of the soft skills, the power of the creativity and the communication skills and challenging the status quo, it's also part of this type of motivation and risk appetite. So that's the pattern what we try to find with Code School and how we are able to create a completely different type of IT people to the market.
It's like a pet project for you, right? Is it more of a, is it a,
Yeah, definitely, yes.
Yeah?
Yes, but on the other hand, it needs to be a business.
Of course.
Yeah, and this is a great business. So the education itself, especially from the future challenges point of view. And when we started I think we started in 2015. And back when we started, that was, the digitalization was a kind of like not so obvious quote. So the people still believe that they can do whatever career they want. And there are IT people as well. Right now, there is no question anymore that everybody needs to have some digital skills to be able to making their professional life more successful. So the Code School model is already proved that it must have. Everybody is not an IT people, but a digital people. And from the economy and also from the government's point of view, it's a very, very challenging things because they need to be able to transform the whole generation, the whole society, to be able to reflecting on this challenge of the business. And we just saw that Code School, and I think it's still valid, that this is the same thing that literature is. So that's reading and writing capability. After the First World War in Europe, there was only 15% of the people who had reading and writing capability, and in a very short term, because there was a consensus by the society, the governments, and the economy, that it's creating much higher value if the people have these skills. They transformed in a very short period, so 40 years, up to 70 something. So this is happening right now with the digital skills as well. And of course, there is a part of the society who is not participating in this, and this is a potential risk, because risk of the unemployment and risk of the how they are able to
being replaced.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Yeah. So I guess AI is basically on the tip of everyone's tongue
Yeah.
with various people that are, there's still people that kind of think they understand it, whether it be ChatGPT or generative AI or what have you. Have you noticed any a shift in the business direction of your field within and having to focus on using this technology? Have you noticed anything in this?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's I think right now it's not just a buzzword, but it's really happening to transforming all the industries, not just financial industry, but all the industries. And the highest challenge what I see is always about the timing, because everybody believes that it's happening tomorrow, and when it's not happening tomorrow, they are unsatisfied or sad that okay, probably this is a bubble. But we both of us seen that's how the internet bubble happened. That everybody was talking about internet is transforming everything, internet is gonna be the next big hit. And in 2001 they said that this is just the bubble popped up, and everybody was talking about that, oh, there was an expectation that Amazon is going to be the biggest retailer. What a messy idea was it. And in 2025, of course, it's not a question anymore. It's really happening. Sometimes slower than the adoption is slower than how we expect. This is the Amara's law. I always talking about this, that Amara was an American futurist who said that we always underestimating the speed of the changes and in short term, and always overestimated the short term and always underestimated the long term impact. And this is so true. This is true in every revolutionary changes. It's happened with the internet, it's going to happen with the AI as well. It's not the question is it's happening or not. It's not a question. The question is that the impact is when it's going to be so big, and it's just getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and right now probably with AI it's going to be just yes.
Are you focused in the space at all, or
Yes, I am, but just realizing that I'm closer to the 50 than to the 40, I believe those guys who are in the same age than when I was with the internet boom, they will be the leader of this transformation and not myself. And of course, as an investor, I'm happily investing these type of ideas and these type of motivated, sparkling eyes, young people. And I think this is their field. They will play this game.
I would not be who I am if I didn't ask you about the crypto space.
Oh yeah.
So curious about your take on what is, well, let me date myself as well. I remember when Bitcoin was at 300 US and I was telling people to buy into it. I even bought some Bitcoin back then, lost one of my wallets, but it wasn't that much. Well, actually, maybe it was that much now I think about it. But and I've seen how blockchain has basically changed how it's grown, how banks are focused on having their own version of their blockchain, private blockchains, what have you. How's that affected your business, and do you see the potential of Bitcoin or crypto or tokenizing changing the way we spend money?
I am. So I think to understand the impact of the crypto on financial business, we need to understand first that the legacy way of how the legacy is working in the financial institutions. And US possibly the best example on this. You still have checks. So in 2025, people are still going in the shop and writing something on a paper, and then on the other side they accepted it as a payment. So sounds weird, but this is part of the natural legacy habit, and this is makes quite easy. In Europe, we are right now. It's the adoption is also very high in the US, but it used to be the card adoption in Europe was higher than in the US. Card payment and card facilities, especially with chip and pin type of cards, was much more stronger to adopt it in Western Europe. But this is a legacy at the moment, because in Asia, where they never had check facilities, they never had card facilities, they immediately leapfrogged this to P2P payment and also crypto payment. So the adoption of these type of payments is significantly higher. And this is just about the legacy. So it's quite easy to go into somewhere and pay with your cards, because there is no hassle at all. That you already used to it, you understand how it's working. So you are not forced to change it just by there is a newer solution. And this is break it down or just make it slower, the blockchain adoption. But in Asia, in Africa, it's happening. And also because of the value of the Bitcoin, the value of the Ethereum, it's also there is a lot of field of crypto spaces. But the conservative type of financial institution, of course, regulatory point of view and several other point of view, makes the adoption much more smaller in the developed part of the world. I'm much more crypto pro, so that's I really believe in this type of new ecosystem. But the adoption is not going to be as fast as, for example, with the AI.
I have a friend of mine who has an interest in getting to real estate and tokenization of real estate, and happens to be here in Hungary. Do you think that the adoption of this sort of thing will happen eventually on Hungarian soil?
Yeah, I see a lot of projects which makes it much more beyond the classic crypto business, so not just BTC and ETH. So that I see a lot of tokenization project which is very interesting, and what I see, it's also the regulatory here in Hungary is quite crypto friendly. So I see that's probably it's just giving an opportunity for startups to scale it up.
I have some questions for you that are, I call rapid questions, right? Have nothing to do with nothing. I just want to know your character generally. So I'll start off with the simplest. Palinka or Unicum?
Palinka.
European supercars or American muscle cars?
Muscle. American classic ones. Yeah.
Classic muscle.
Yeah.
You have a favorite?
Charger, probably.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Northern Lake Balaton or southern part of Lake Balaton?
I am more a bigger fan of the Austrian lakes because of the mountains, but if I need to choose, north.
North side. The hills of Buda or the streets of Pest?
Yeah, here's a Buddha.
Tokai wine or California wine? Be careful with this one. Be careful.
You know, I have a winery in Tokai, so I must be very much Tokai fan.
Right on. Road trip vacation with the family or flying to your holiday destination?
Road trip.
I like
Not
road
by
trips
car.
too. Me too. I'm a car person. I love seeing. You just see more, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you get a chance to spend time with the family.
Yeah, and this summer we just went to Rome by train.
Oh, nice.
With the night train, so it was super cool. Yeah.
Beautiful. Wow. Rubik's Cube or chess?
Rubik's Cube.
Oh, okay, really? Ah, interesting. Okay. Well, listen, this was awesome. I could sit down and talk to you about many things. I'm really curious about many things with you, but I think I'll wrap it up there. But actually, let me put this. If a young kid, whether in Hungary or anywhere in the world, came up to you with a dream but wasn't sure how he could pull it off, what would you tell him?
With a dream or with an idea?
Well, let's say let's do both. Or how would you interpret?
Because I'm not a big fan of ideas. You know, that there is a lot of startups, founders are coming to us to say that I have a very special ideas. I'm not a big believer of special ideas. I'm more bigger fan of when they see that I want to do something as a kind of like a dream. And my favorite example is an analogy is that just because there are so many restaurants on the world, still there is a chance that a new McDonald's will pop up. And let's see Shake Shack, for example. That's this great example. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, you're not necessary to find something very unique idea immediately. Just going into a field, and later on you will see that, wow, there is so many opportunity and this is mine.
Love it. Balázs, this was incredible. Thank you for your time and sharing your story with me.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.